Good evening, fans. Tim Kitzrow here, the voice of NBA Jam, and you're listening to the Game Dev Breakdown Podcast, brought to you by CodeWritePlay.com. Whoa, boom shakalaka!
My mom gave birth in 1985. I was bluer than a Pac-Man ghost, barely alive. In the Cold War, my only blanket was Tetris. I played Rampart with Reagan, rampaged the world for breakfast. The laundromat was my sanctuary, the arcade was my church. I thought I was Rastan, so for
Hey everybody, Todd Mitchell here, and welcome back to Game Dev Breakdown. This is the first check-in during GDC Showcase. So all week I am casually following GDC Showcase. I was graciously granted press access. That was a big deal because GDC did not have to, they didn't have to do that. So I appreciate that. I have enjoyed attending some of the sessions so far. It's all online this time, virtual, free. If you're not registered yet, it's not too late for you to get signed up and get yourself into the website is gdconf.com. You can register real quick and you can join in on the event that's still going on all week long. The sessions you missed, you can check through Watch on Demand. There's a cool feature. This event is all on SwapCard, which is at swapcard.com, or there's an app you can download on mobile devices. I've got to tell you, I have never done a SwapCard virtual event before, but this, and I tweeted this out on Twitter, SwapCard is the best solution for virtual events I have ever covered. As you know, I've covered multiple events in virtual spaces, some with headsets, some in 2D in your browser. There are a bunch of ways people have tried to do online events. SwapCard is really, really nice. The event organizers added me directly to the event. Once I was registered, I just got in, checked out the schedule. They keep separate event schedules, and then you have a personal schedule that you can add sessions to. I believe GDC Showcase, all of the events are just linear. They just one right after another, and there's only one track. They say there are different tracks, but really, the event is just one long series of presentations. They do not run simultaneously. They just run through the week. Yesterday, Monday the 15th through Friday the 19th, and it's just like, I think it's like 9 to 4 their time, something like that. Here's Central Time. They start 11 a.m., and I was able to just add all the sessions to my schedule, which SwapCard keeps track of for you. Then in the app or in the website, they have a button you can hit and just export all of that to the calendar app of your choosing. So on my phone, I have everything popping up right on time. I didn't have to do any difficult work to configure that. I love SwapCard. So the way it has worked so far is the events take place. They have live video or pre-recorded video. Some of the GDC sessions are from previous years, so things when people got to come in person and deliver their presentations. They're replaying some of these and doing live chats with the presenters, which is nice. Then there are partner sessions, live podcasts, you name it. So during this week, I want to keep track of some of the more interesting presentations. They've all been good. They've all been good for different people and for different focus areas, but I'm keeping track of stuff that's most applicable to me and hopefully applicable to you as well. So far we're wrapping up the first day. There are still several hours left in Tuesday. I started the week trying to be watching everything live. I made it no secret I am also managing my son's remote kindergarten class, and I know kindergarten is kindergarten, but you'd be surprised at the commitment level it takes from both of us. So there's a lot for me to do. I'm working on the book as well. So close to launch on this thing. But so I started the week trying to watch these live, and now I'm catching up on demand. The only problem so far is there were two really good presentations yesterday. One was a live chat with Warren Spector, who almost everyone knows if you're a fan of game development. He's done many, many great things, including Deus Ex and more stuff. What they did was they played his presentation from, I believe, 2017, which was a post-mortem on Deus Ex, and he was present in the chat. And one of the first things that came up, I wrote about this on the website, it was him. He brought up in the presentation, this game happens in a world where conspiracy theories are true. And that is a central point of the plot of the game. And he said in the chat right away, he goes, I want to let people know, I'm not sure I would make this game the same way today. because the conspiracy theory thing, and that's part of our world now, and it causes a lot of problems. I'm not sure I would do that again. I was kind of blown away by that. It's not the biggest deal, but I think it was a very serious moment and a very kind of important point that he made. And so I thought, okay, this is probably my first article covering this week. So I ran over to WordPress. In fact, I was using my iPad Pro, and I spent a long time really skeptical about the existence of the iPad Pro at all. But what I found out you can do with it is, first of all, it has a nice keyboard, and you can do side-by-side apps. So I was able to run, unfortunately, the swap card app, my one beef with that is it only does portrait mode. You can't do landscape. So I had to open the browser, which is fine, and I was able to go into swapcard.com and get into the event. I was able to pull up Warren's presentation and live chat on one side of my screen, then the WordPress app on the other side of my screen, and write an article as I was watching this unfold. For that reason, I was able to rush right over there, do a really fast article. I'm pretty good at doing very accurate writing, like decent logical writing very fast. And I think I was basically the first person to break this news. And you can make the argument like that's not really news, but Kotaku got to it as soon as they could, and I beat them by like an hour. So I was extremely proud of that. You can read that article at CodeWritePlay.com. I'm going to do more stuff like that throughout the week, noteworthy things, because this is a combination of pre-recorded stuff with chats and then live stuff. So I'm trying to catch up with the stuff you really want to know about that's happening new and as we speak. So I did that. There was another one yesterday that was fantastic, which was an AMA with Brian Fleming, the co-founder of Sucker Punch Productions, which just did Ghost of Tsushima. So that was a really good session, and it was considered, I think it was considered a live podcast. It was one of those. And the problem was, because it was a live session, it wasn't ready to like upload for on-demand watching. So, I mean, you're not supposed to record this stuff as it happens in any way, and it's not that I was going to upload that, but it left me with no way to really capture things as they happened and then do like another. There were several article-worthy things and quotes from Brian Fleming during that presentation that I would have loved to write about, but so far they still haven't made that available to watch on demand. So I'm keeping an eye out for that. Let's talk about our sponsor, AppFigures. AppFigures is all about giving game makers the tools they need to get more downloads and revenue. You may know them for analytics and App Store optimization. Now, AppFigures can help you track competitors from downloads and dollar amounts to audience demographics and even which SDKs they use. Their competitor intelligence gives you great context. If a competitor adds a new feature or gets mentioned in the news, AppFigures can tell you if that brought in more downloads. If you have an idea for a new app or a game, AppFigures can tell you how big the market is and how much money it could make you. That is just scratching the surface. Whether you're growing your app or building a new one, AppFigures has the tools you need to reduce risk and get more downloads. You don't need a huge budget or a data science degree. AppFigures has made it affordable and simple. They provide the tools, and they can guide you step by step through gaining more visibility with ASO and increasing your revenue by learning from your competitors. Head to appfigures.com/on/GameDevBreakdown to try AppFigures for free. If you like it, use our special code GDB3030 to get 30% off for the next 3 months. I'm just trying to gather those bits and pieces you can use during the week. There were several other presentations yesterday, depending on what you're interested in. One I wish I had known more about beforehand, and I did have the list, but there was one called Diversity and Inclusion Starter Kit, and it was by somebody I hadn't heard of at the time, but she was from Avalanche Studios, which didn't ring a bell at the time, but it should have, because Avalanche Studios does Just Cause and a bunch of other really big games. They were a much bigger studio than I thought. So in that light, it actually made the diversity initiatives and stuff even more interesting, because it's like at a small studio, it's probably, I guess, I've not been involved in, hiring and firing because I'm just a soloist, but for a studio of any size, there are challenges about setting policies and managing, diversity initiatives and stuff. But for a big studio, I thought, yeah, I am interested in that. How they manage that in that light. Again, I'm interested in it at any size, but if you are curious about that, you can check out that discussion, which I believe is already up for checking out on demand. There was one about the Frostbite engine, And my question was, are that many people outside EA using Frostbite? I thought Frostbite was almost sort of being phased out. I don't have any actual news on that, but I thought the general consensus was Frostbite is getting a little long in the tooth, and we're starting to look beyond it. Well, the situation was there was a GDC 2020 talk on quad mesh simplification in Frostbite, and it was being replayed for Showcase 21 here. The presenter was in the chat, and the first several questions were to the effect of like, can I use Frostbite? Is that somewhere I can download it or check it out? And the presenter immediately said, I can't answer questions about EA's business strategy. And I logged out. I wanted to know one thing, and I'm clearly not going to find it. It's not his fault. He was there to talk about technical stuff. But I wish someone had addressed the question, like, who is using Frostbite and who could use Frostbite? I would think that's like very high dollar licensing business on the back end. They don't appear to discuss it on the website. So I didn't know what to think of that. So there were several partner sessions, something by NVIDIA. There was, here's something else. I said that because mobile game development was a bit of a theme yesterday. And if you do this virtual event, you get something called a digital tote bag in your swap card account. And if you look in there, I just want to put this out there because I think it's easy to overlook. There is a copy of a book an ebook on mobile game development business, I should say. And it looked pretty good. It looked interesting to me. And I thought if that was something you were into, I wanted to make sure you knew that was there. So check that out in your digital tote bag. Today, there have been a variety of interesting things, but several presentations from Unity. So it's a good day for Unity devs to check out. I think these are considered partner sessions also because Unity is a sponsor of the event, but they're still very worthwhile. There's a lot of stuff about new features in Unity, people in the chat. This was pretty technical stuff. I am a Unity developer. I have been for a good number of years already. And a lot of the talk was well over my head, mostly because I do very simple projects, 2D stuff, very basic 3D stuff. So I'm not a genius in Unity. I'm just capable. These people are geniuses talking to other geniuses. So if that's more your level, be sure to check out some of what they're doing. And again, I think all of this is going to be on demand right away. So again, we're only 2 days in. I don't need to make this a super long episode, but I will be covering more GDC Showcase stuff on the site as I'm able. Of course, I'm working on the book. I'm in an editing pass right now. I mean, we are in the final days of this project before I announce a release date, things like that. So I'm very, very busy, but I'm so glad to be taking part in GDC Showcase. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. People seem to be enjoying it, and they're really making the best of a pandemic event here. So I kudos to the GDC organizers. I was kind of skeptical last year when I thought they were a little bit too late to postpone or announce that it would be virtual. They've really come a long way since then, and they're doing everything right. So props to them. I would strongly encourage, obviously this stuff is during the workday. If you're actively working all day, well, this is difficult, but you can check out some on-demand stuff overnight, probably over the weekend. I don't think they're going to take this stuff down right away. So it's a good chance for you to catch up with the industry, catch some presentations. I don't know if you can see what goes on in the chat when you do on demand. Probably not, I would guess. Still, pretty cool, valuable stuff. Let me pull up the schedule and look at the good upcoming things for the coming days. Wednesday, if you're interested in hearing some talk from Facebook, they're going to talk about... I'm sorry. I just looked at the name of Facebook's presentation, and it's called Future of Gaming, Quality and Connection. If you've listened to the last few episodes of the podcast here, you know why that's funny, because I've been extremely critical of people just going, I'm here to talk about the future of gaming. Well, Uncle Facebook is a little bit out of touch on that, so if you want to hear from Facebook talk about quality games and player connections driving healthy and robust gaming ecosystems, my God. Listen, very smart people work at Facebook. They don't know how to communicate with the public, but if you want to hear some talk from a extremely high-budget, well-resourced company, it's usually better than it sounds on paper. And that's what I would tell you. That's to Facebook's credit. I listened to them present on stuff at the Audio for VR and AR conference last year. They let smart people come and be pretty open about what they do. And I think there is a value to that, no matter how weird it sounds in a brochure. Making Marketing Mistakes is by Victoria Tran of Innersloth. That's probably going to be an interesting one, although I believe it was previously recorded. Another thing by Facebook, developing a UX mindset on Fortnite. So Epic also, to their credit, does a lot of this kind of thing. They will send people to events and submit presentations, and they also are pretty open about technical stuff. So that's to their credit. I will probably check that out as well. Another thing by Facebook in the afternoon. If you are curious about how Facebook does things and what they're doing in gaming, I do think that's worth knowing, so I will be keeping an eye on that. Also, another GDC podcast live. They do, those are good interviews. There's something about Population 1, the VR game, which does look pretty interesting. And another AMA with Demon's Souls creative director Gavin Moore. So there's cool stuff going on tomorrow. I don't know that I'll do I probably won't get to do a nightly podcast during GDC Showcase. I was wondering if I'd be maybe able to set up some speaker interviews. It could happen. I have a feature where I can sort of offer my contact information to people. I'm trying not to abuse it. I'm not going to bother Warren Spector. I know my worth. I know my place. But I'm going to be looking for anybody who might be receptive to this. And otherwise, I'm very excited about a guest unrelated to GDC that I booked for late this week for an episode that will go out this weekend. There will be an interview going out that I think you will find interesting. I'm very interested in it, and that's enough for me. So, again, GDConf, C-O-N-F, for conference.com. If you haven't registered yet and would like to, not too late to participate in GDC Showcase 2021 for free. And big thanks to them for press access to the event. I'm here learning just like you're here learning. Let me know the sessions that you've enjoyed, things you've noticed I haven't talked about, and upcoming stuff that you're curious about as well. I'm happy to do that. Hop on the newsletter if you haven't yet. People seem to be enjoying that. I appreciate that. And that will be a good place to learn about book news. CodeWritePlay.com is where we do show notes. Subscribe to the podcast here. You can find it anywhere. Thrilled if you showed up here during GDC looking for that coverage and discovered the podcast. Welcome. Happy to have you here. This is what we do. Shop talk here in the game industry for indies, pros, you name it. So I'll hang it up there for this time just in case I do get to do several episodes this week. I don't want to make them all super long. So thanks for dropping in, and happy GDC time to each and every one of you. May the showcase, smile upon you, right? So catch us on social at GameDevPod, at CodeWritePlay, and me, Todd Mitchell, at MechaTodzilla with 1D and 2 L's. I like hearing from y'all. So let me know how things are going, and I will catch you later this week. Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations on your game dev breakdown, whatever that is. Sounds idiotic to me.